Welcome back to Kepner Films. Today I'm going to be doing a little short video on which gauge for your 7.5 railroad. So I currently am doing a 7.5 railroad. So the width between the rails is 7.5. So that's pretty good. So 7.5 is a good. But then I was recently introduced in that some people like to do 7 5/8, which 7 5/8 is just a little bigger than 7.5. So I'm re-gauging a couple of my track panels on the corners to 7 5/8. So I got that one. There's two there, not that straight. Then those over there. So basically this from there to there, that loop, is going to be gauged to 7 5/8. And 7 5/8 gives more play in between the trucks. That's what I wanted. So hopefully we'll fix the problem that I had. So I'll show you. Okay, so I got one of my trucks out, and they're black. So I'm gonna bring them down. So that's my 7.5 straight. This is 7.5 turn. So hopefully this will work. Okay. So basically I'll start from here. And hopefully this will work. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, it's kind of really bright out right now, but you know, I'll try my best. So you see how much room there is in between the flange and the rail? Like, there is a lot of wiggle room. I don't know if you can see, like, it's really hard to get the camera down here, but there's a lot of wiggle room in the 7 5/8. So then I'm gonna bring it up to the 7.5 gauge up here. Okay, so here is my 7.5 piece. As you can see, not much. I'll actually bring it up here so you guys can see a little more better. So that is it. Not as much play. Not as much play. So the 7 5/8 is bigger than the 7.5. That's why I chose to go 7 5/8 for these corners, because they're a little tighter than what's over there. So I switched and I got these two panels done. Actually, there might be three, but two. And I got these two done, which you can see on the outside, I could keep them in the original spot, but over here, I had to do this. But on some of them, see, like this one, there's no hole, but I was able to do it. So it was probably 7 5/8 already. This is where I ended up. Track gauges. Here are my track gauges. So on this outside, 7 5/8. Oh gosh, that one's heavy. Okay. Here's my track gauge. Two-sided, 7.5 and 7 5/8. As you can see, they're not, 7 5/8 is not much. So this side that's facing down is 7 5/8. So if I set it like this, 7 5/8. On this side, on the bottom half, 7.5. And you can see now, look, my track gauge doesn't fit, but the other one does. See, if I flip it over, just snapped into place. It's actually a little bigger than 7.5, but 7 5/8, but it's pretty good. So this is all 7. So I've been playing around with the 7.5 and the 7 5/8, and so I'm gonna be going with the 7 5/8 because I like it way better than the 7.5. So those are your two options. Just more play, especially for more tighter radiuses like mine. So yep. Hopefully that helped. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.